Cheers! The Amiga just turned 40 years. I wanted to make some kind of video celebrating this thing, but I wasn't sure what to make. The A1000 never crossed my path when it was current. Then I saw a video from Vix in Japan, where she explained her relationship with the Amiga during the 90s. And now that the Amiga is entering 40 years old, I loved that idea. And I wanted to tell you my personal story with the Amiga. So that's what I'm going to do today. My first encounter with the Amiga was at a friend's house in the late 80s or early 90s, I'm not sure. His older brother had a Chicken Lips Amiga 500, and it was light years above anything I've seen up to that date. We mostly played games on it. Lotus, and then Lotus 2 and Lotus 3 were the big ones early on. Later, I got into the Settlers, and I never really left it when it came to gaming. Settlers was the last game I played for days and days. So as you understand, my journey with the Amiga isn't really about gaming at all. My first Amiga was the mighty A500, this exact one. As some miracle, it has survived all these years. Well, at least the external. It has some problems inside it. This one I used mostly for Proteque and Deluxe Paint. Those were my two go-to programs on this Amiga. In Proteque, I used a lot of time to make mod covers of popular trance tracks. That was the music that was big in my youth, trance music, in the very early 90s. I used to send diskettes around to friends with mods with those covers on. Later on, I started trying to make my own trance music on this very computer. However, for me, the real nostalgia isn't with the A500, it is with the A1200. My first Amiga 1200 was a towered one. It had an 030 and 180 megabyte hard drive. I bought it secondhand in 1994, I think it was, just a short while before Commodore went bust. This was the machine I had through my youth. I used it mostly for making music. First in Proteque, and then later in DigiBooster Pro, after I had upgraded it with an 040 40 MHz. This was also the computer I started my internet life with a dial-up connection using Amirk. I got friends from all around the country and all around Europe. I was never the kind of guy that had a lot of friends locally, so this was a good thing for me. A lot of these people are still good friends of mine, and I still speak with them daily on IRC today. It was also through IRC and my stepbrother, which was very active in the ASCII scene, that I got involved in the demoscene. This became one of my big things in my life. I have been doing graphics and music for the demoscene since then, and I still do. The latest one on Amiga where I was involved was Mare, a black metal demo for the A1200 with an 060. The Amiga was my daily driver as a main computer for a very long time. At the end, the operating system was starting to be a bit dated in looks, and one of the things I used a lot of time on at the end of those days was making icons. Wallpapers, icons, theming workbench, etc. Sadly, I've lost all of my icon collections, so they are gone. But I managed to find an old screenshot of how my workbench looked from that era. It's quite fun to have a look at. It was not minimalistic, to say, at least. In those end years, another big thing for me was buying Amiga format and CU Amiga. I used to go to the neighbor town to get magazines and read if there was still hope for the Amiga. This was one of the last one. It was always telling us the future is bright, like this. It was kind of sad days of the Amiga, this for me, but also one I kind of miss. I had big hopes for this back then. This was there when they were talking about BOS and how that was supposed to be the future of Amiga OS. But in the end, I did drift over to using Linux as my daily driver, and Amiga stayed more of a hobby computer of mine, where I mostly used it for making music and graphics for demoscene productions. I hope this was an okay way to celebrate the Amiga's 40th birthday, and please tell me in a comment your story with the Amiga, when you got it and how you used it and if you still use it. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.